Hello everyone, today I want to share with you a fantasy football draft tool I've created. I've been playing fantasy football for only a few years now, but as somebody who likes statistics and playing with data, it's something I've definitely taken an interest in. Every year I try to use Excel to create my own cheat sheet or tool to help me when drafting, and this is the tool I created this year. So in this video I'm just going to kind of go over what I have here and how I'm going to use it. And I'll have a download link in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to leave them in the video comments or message me. So first, this is the about sheet. Also, I should mention, when you open the file, it's got macros, so you'll get a warning at the top that says enable macros, so just be sure to enable those. So it's pretty simple to use. Here's the sheet you'll be working with. It is called the best pick sheet, and pretty much anything highlighted in orange or anything in orange is a cell you can edit. So I've got a couple drop down boxes here. Determine the number of players in your league. On the left is the top projected players to pick from. You can filter it by certain positions, so this would now show only quarterbacks or wide receivers and tight ends only, or you can just leave it at all. And then here you can just set the positions that are in your league. So you can, if there's a second quarterback, whatever, I think you can have 20. Yeah, 20 total. And as you'll go, you'll just add names of players you draft here, and then once a player gets drafted by anybody, you can put them over here. And it's pretty much that simple. Now I have two macros that simplify this a great deal. So anywhere on this, and I'm going to zoom out first, but anywhere on the spreadsheet where you see a name of a player, so it could be here, or I have a short little list here. This is just ranking the players that are still in the draft based on their projected points, and it shows the top 50. So let's say somebody goes first and they pick Todd Gurley. I click his name over here and I can hit Control and A, and now it adds him to the drafted players list. Now let's say I pick second and I want Rob Gronkowski. I can pick his name here, I can pick it here, wherever. You can hit Control and W to move it to your team and the drafted players list at the same time. So Control W moves them to your team and the drafted players, or you can hit Control and A just to say, once somebody drafts a player, if somebody in your league drafts Antonio Brown, there you go, he's no longer available for you to draft. And then I have a lot of information, displayed all around. I think it's very useful information, and I like the way I've got it organized. So you can see, here's your team so far. Here's the handcuff for each of your players, their rating, and I'll get to more about where I got these ratings and stuff from later. But then also if they're still available. So you see, if somebody was to draft Martellus Bennett, I think I spelled it with 2 T's, okay. Now he's no longer available. So if later on in the draft you feel like you want to pick up your handcuff to one of your players, this right here will let you know if they're available or not, just so you know. And I actually, instead of typing that, I could have just hit Control and A. Of course. But so yeah, that's a nifty little tool. Also over here you can see I've got the players sorted. It's based on any filtering and any other criteria. It determines what players displayed, and they're sorted in descending order based on their projected points. So the values shown here, you can see the team, the position, the player name, their handcuff, and their handcuff's rating, and then the projected points for the season, the value over their target. So what this means is, say there's 10 players in the league and you're drafting for 2 receiver positions, then this will show you how many points above the 20th best receiver Odell Beckham is projected to perform. And the reason for that is, if everybody's going just to fill their positions, then that means everybody wants to aim to be better than the 20th receiver. It's a common drafting strategy. And then here's a risk factor. The higher the risk, the riskier the investment, pretty much. So you can see Lamar Miller or Adrian Peterson would be like safer investments versus Odell, but he's projected more points. Then I have a consistency. This just summarizes for last year what percentage of games you would have wanted to keep this player in your team. So a player who has a 1 here, which is the highest value you can obtain, is somebody who you would have easily just sat on your team last year and never benched him the whole year. Which, like, for example, one of my favorites, Rob Gronkowski. Last year, you could have filled your tight end spot with him and not had to worry about drafting a tight end the whole year because he was 100% consistency. But if you saw when Antonio Brown was on the list, he had some games where he suffered in points for various reasons, like Ben Roethlisberger was out for the game, or just whatever. Then finally, the fantasy points per game is the average fantasy points per game they had last year and games they played in. So, and that's pretty much all the information shown here. And so just to go a little bit more into how this works, you can see I've already drafted a running back. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and clear this. I'm just going to start over. And one neat thing is, like I said, if your league becomes a 12-player league, the value of everything just updates pretty much as soon as I change anything over here. So I'm going to go ahead and draft quarterback. I'll get Aaron Rodgers. And now notice I don't need any more quarterbacks. But let's say, and since I don't need any more quarterbacks, you do not see quarterbacks on this list at all anymore. And I think I might have even added that filter. Did I add that filter over here? I think I did, because I don't see any quarterbacks. And pretty much that's what this yes or no here is for. So since I have this selected yes, once I fill a position, players from that position will no longer show up on the East list. If I want to turn that off though, if I still want to see like if there's a high value quarterback, I just select no here, and you can see Cam Newton was just added back to the list. So yeah. So and then if I wanted to add Cam Newton, Control W, and it just fills him in this blank spot here. So he's just a bench player for now. And it's really that simple. Right now I'm just drafting all these players in my team. You can see now my running backs are filled up. The running backs just get added down here. And, they're still showing up because I had that on no. Once I hit yes, notice I only have defense and kickers now because that's the only open spots I have. So go ahead and get the Broncos and Ghosts. So yeah, that's the most of it. The data that drives this is a depth chart list. I don't know if this would ever need to be updated again. And then this is my consistency table. This tab you should be able just to leave alone. But here's the core data. This, you might want to update again before this season, just in case injuries happen or whatever. And I get this data from this link right here, Apps Fantasy Football Analytics Projections. So if I open my internet and paste this link, this is pretty much where you would get your data. You want to change data settings, and then once you see this screen, you will just modify it to match kind of your personal preference on how you want your data to look, and also on how the scoring in your league works. And then once you're done changing your data settings, all this will be updated, and you'll want to download your custom rankings and that file should match your data here. So you just copy, go to A1, paste values. All this would be updated. Make sure you don't change anything past column W, because these are all formulas, and you want to keep those formulas for everything to work. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Here I've listed where I got my other data to. The depth charts and the consistency stuff came from ESPN's website. And yeah, here's just another breakdown of statistics and more about how to use it. It's all right here on the About page. Like I said, you have to have macros enabled in order to do the macro trick, but you can click a name anywhere and hit Control W to add them to your team, or Control A to add them to the drafted players list. And yeah, so enjoy. Like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. And if you want to support me in making other projects like this in the future, I'll have a link for that, as well as the download link in the description below. So thanks for watching.